What is up, my friend, and welcome back to the Happy Heart Academy podcast. I am your host, Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about a topic that is going to be able to help you to change your life if you're ready to change your life, and it's going to also help you to not be let down or heartbroken as much. If you're tired of being let down or your heart continues to be broken by another individual that comes into your life, if you're seeing these constant patterns in your life, then this message and podcast is for you, because we're going to dive into the truth behind what makes us end up being let down and also what makes us get heartbroken more often than not. So before we get into that, I do want to say to you, anybody who is struggling to move on, struggling to let go, struggling to create happiness or a sense of control in their life right now, I've got a free gift for you. And it's my free training on how to create happiness after your heartbreak. I'll give you the exact steps that I take all of my clients through at the high end level. Exactly what I do so that they can also move on. It's exactly what I did and exactly what you can do. These are the 3 pillars that you must walk through, move through, and work through so that you can actually move on and reclaim your life and happiness. So if you're interested in that free gift and free training, be sure to check out the link below in the show notes, whether you're listening to this on YouTube or on the podcast app. Nonetheless, the link will be below. That will be a great place for you to begin to get some, I would say, a roadmap for being able to understand where you're going and what you actually need to focus on during this time of your heartbreak and singleness. Because there's certain things that you can do that can help you heal, and there's certain things that you will do that won't help you heal, and you'll oftentimes stay stuck. So if you're tired of staying stuck, if you're tired of living in the monotony of the day-to-day life, of questioning whether or not you feel loved, there's days that you don't feel love, there's days that you don't feel happiness, there's days that you feel depressed and you don't want to get out of bed because you just can't move on, well then, once again, this free training is going to be for you. It's about 30 minutes long, but it's going to be very impactful for your healing. And I wish I knew these 3 steps prior to going through my heartbreak, because if I did, I would feel the confidence and courage needed so that I knew what 3 pillars I needed to focus on throughout my singleness and heartbreak. So if that's something you're interested in, then be sure to click the link in the show notes. Now on to today's episode. My dear friends, today we are talking about this big idea, but I'm going to keep it simple and short. But this big idea, if you want change in your life, if you're tired of being let down, if you're tired of getting constantly heartbroken, then like I said, this episode is for you. So I've been hearing the loud cry across all platforms of social media, all platforms of comments that have come into my DMs and throughout the social media world, of people feeling sick and tired of being sick and tired of being let down and brokenhearted. So what can we do so that we don't experience so much letdown in our life moving forward? So that we don't experience too many more broken hearts throughout our lifetime that we've been gifted? Well, the first thing I want to say, which might come to you as a little bit personal, maybe attack, but I hope it doesn't, but it's considering you to lower your expectations. You see, some of you, if you are constantly being let down, constantly being heartbroken, it's because you need to lower your expectations. You need to understand what your expectations are. Understand, describe, identify what expectations you're currently holding in your life, and what you will end up finding is that maybe your expectations are a bit too high. Maybe you're asking for a bit too much. Maybe you're even asking the wrong individual to give you that. Like, you see, I've read before, I can't remember where I read it, but I read a book that basically said that we grew up just a couple hundred years ago. We grew up in tribes. And oftentimes in our tribe, we had people for specific things that we needed to fulfill us or to help us. For example, We had maybe a pastor in our community, in our tribe. We maybe had a spiritual leader of some kind. We might have had a financial leader. We might have had a therapist of some sort. We might have had a healing coach. We might have had maybe a workout friend. We might have had, a nutritionist. We might have had someone who would gather the food, someone that would, all of those people that come together in a tribe. Basically, what has happened in this day and age is we've turned a tribe of 100 into a tribe of 1. And we built a tribe within our significant other. So that raises our expectation of everything that our significant other needed to be for us, which puts a lot of weight on that significant other. If they need to be your financial, guidance counselor, they need to be your therapist, they need to be your lover, they need to be your sexual satisfaction, they need to be your God, they need to be your pastor, they need to be your forgiver, they need to be your savior, they need to be everything. They need to be your cook, your nutritionist, your workout buddy, your best friend, your all of those things, right? They need to be all of these things. And oftentimes what happens is this can cause us to experience overwhelm. And it can cause us to hold too high of an expectation on ourselves or on other people. And oftentimes expectations are a guaranteed way to being let down. So if you are someone who has high expectations, not high standards, high expectations, completely different. Standards are different than expectations. You see, an expectation, when gone unmet, will lead us down to unfulfilled, will lead us down the road toward feeling hopeless, toward feeling angry, upset, resentful, things that just don't, there is no time that expectations, that it seems to be good. You see, even when they do meet our expectations, we will then raise our standard, we'll raise our expectation for them to meet it again and again and again and again and again. And if they don't meet our expectation again and again and again and again, guess what happens? We then question them. We make them feel maybe attacked. We don't allow ourselves to lower our expectations so that we can expect less and appreciate more. So nonetheless, that's the first idea is you know what? If you're struggling because you're being let down more often than not and you're constantly being heartbroken, maybe your expectations are too high. Maybe you're expecting a little too much and not appreciating enough. Now, for some of you, you might need to raise your expectations. You see, some of you don't have expectations. You just accept whatever is. And you don't have any form of formation or standard that which also leads to feeling moments of being let down or heartbroken. You see, raising your expectations can be good for those who have no expectations or no standards at all. People that just accept whatever they have accepted, whether, some people have such low expectations that they don't believe that it's even right to be talked to kindly by their significant other. Their significant other will spit in their face, literally and metaphorically. Their significant other will abuse them physically, verbally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, but yet they don't walk away because their significant other has made them believe that they're not worthy of love, of happiness, of respect. And maybe that's some of you today. Maybe some of you are feeling as though you haven't raised your expectation. You haven't been treated well enough. So you only accept the low quality people that are out there. I'm sorry to say, but there are low quality people, life draining people, people that will suck the life out of you and make you question who you are, what you stand for, your values, your beliefs, your love, your commitment, who you are. These are low quality people. So nonetheless, maybe some of you need to raise your expectations. Maybe you need to expect, hey, listen, I expect you to treat me with a certain amount of respect. I don't talk to myself that way. I'm not going to let you talk to me that way. When someone tries to talk to me in a disrespectful manner of, ideally they call me names, they ridicule me, they kind of kick me to the side, they talk badly about me. I'm like, listen, dude, I don't talk to myself that way. I've been through the hurdles. I am trying to cultivate happiness in my life. And if you can't contribute or be a part of that, then you can walk away, because I don't deserve the amount of disrespect you're giving me, because I don't even give that to myself. So if I don't accept the amount of disrespect that I give to myself, if I don't disrespect myself the way that they're disrespecting me, they'll be easily out of my life with no questions asked. They don't belong, period. Sorry that you have a problem, but I don't. You see, I'm a builder of bridges. I allow bridges to take place. I don't build walls. I build bridges. I build connection. I build love. That's, if someone wants to build a wall, it's because they built it, not myself. So nonetheless, listen, lower your expectations. You know who you are. Or raise your expectations. You also know who you are. And you know what? Ultimately, and this is going to be the biggest topic of the day, is you have to start trusting people for who they are. This is why most of us end up getting let down, or we get heartbroken so quickly, is because, you see, we don't trust people for who they actually are. Hear me out. You need to start trusting people for who they are, for who they have shown you that they are, for who they are choosing to be, and for who they consistently show up as. You need to trust that people are who they say they are. You need to trust people that they are who they show up as, who they choose to be, and who they constantly show up as. You see, the idea behind this is going to be so powerful that it's going to transform why you fell out of love, why the heartbreak took place. So hear me out. So when you start to trust people for who they are, what you're going to ideally do here is you're going to trust, you're going to look for how they're showing up, you're going to look for how they're choosing to be, and you're going to look how they are constantly and consistently showing up for you. Trust them not for who they pretend to be sometimes, not for who they hardly ever are. Trust them for who they consistently are. And when you do that, when you start to trust them for who they consistently are, not for who they hardly ever are, not for who they pretend to be sometimes, but for who they truly are consistently, choosing to be every single day, more days than not, what you're going to realize is that you're going to see their true colors. You're going to take off the rose-colored glasses, and you're going to see them for who they truly are. And who they truly are is not someone who you truly love. See, what you've done most of the time, many of us hold on to these little moments that they show you that they can be who you want them to be. You see, you hold on to little moments that show you that they can be who you want them to be. This, my friend, is the reason why many people get into heartbreaks. They experience broken hearts. And they oftentimes feel let down. Is because when someone shows you that they can be who you want them to be, you fall in love with that version of themselves. And that's only who they are some of the time, not all of the time, very little of the time, hardly ever of the time. And therefore the letdown and heartbreak takes place. Are you hearing me, what I'm saying today? Your expectations are too low, or your expectations are too high. And most of the time, you're only holding on to who they are some of the time, not who they are all of the time. So when you find somebody who is living incongruent to who you know they should be and can be, you found yourself a good quality person. But when you have called it love, when you only see who they can be 25% of the time, 20% of the time, 15% of the time, 10% of the time, and you're holding on to that 10, 20, 30% of the time that they are who you know that they can be, then you're destined for a letdown and a broken heart. My friend, I know this is hard to accept, but this is what happens. We're so eager to fall in love that we just end up falling, and we don't even love. We hold on to the potential of somebody, not the actual somebody. We don't allow ourselves to truly accept who they are completely, just so that we can feel some sort of significance, some sort of love, some sort of false, shallow connection. This, my friends, leads to the feeling of being alone, let down, and a broken heart. So once you see a person for who they are, what you need to understand is you need to understand that you can't change them. Nothing that you say, nothing that you do, nothing that you read can help change them. They can only change them. You understand how hard it is for you to change you? Go ahead, try to quit smoking. Go ahead, try to quit masturbation. Go ahead, try to quit a bad habit. Good luck. It's gonna be hard. Go ahead and try to get yourself into the gym. Go ahead and try to eat healthier. Go ahead and try to stick to a diet. Go ahead and try the 75-day hard challenge. Go ahead and try to run for a week straight. Try to go ahead and jump on the Peloton for 7 days straight. Go ahead and try to set the expectation and goal set and reach that goal every single day. Good luck. Not gonna happen. It's gonna be very challenging. You're gonna go through a lot of adversity. So before you try to stick around and be like, I can change them, take a look at the mirror and see how well you've changed you. If you can't change you, it's gonna be hard to change someone else. You can't pour from a cup that is empty. You can't give something that you don't have yourself. So my friends, this is supposed to be encouraging, supportive, helpful, and uplifting, and I hope that that's what you've gained from this. I hope you understand how powerful it is to lower your expectations, or to perhaps even raise your expectations. But most importantly, I hope you understand that the main reason for letdown and for experiencing a broken heart is because you're holding on to the person who you only see 10, 20, maybe even 30% of the time, not the person that you see all of the time. And that is why we face letdown. And that is why we face a constant broken heart, because we're holding on to the potential, not the person.